Midwest, home sweet home in good old Indiana. Place of small towns, cozy families gather together, and fields of corn and rustic woods. But, like any town, there is a dark underbelly that often goes unnoted. We are part of that darkness. We lurk in the shadows to bring you the best in horror, metal, and stories of the grotesque. This is Blood in the Cornfields.
All right, welcome in, Cellar Dwellers. I am Mark.
I'm Ivy.
And we are Blood in the Cornfields. Got a special episode today for our 69th.
69.
69, baby.
Wow.
I heard somewhere that that's the only number banned in the NBA. So
Really?
you can't have like 69.
Oh, that's dumb.
I guess so they can't.
I want to be
joke.
69.
I know. And just ride the bench. I don't want to do anything. I just want to get paid to travel with a team and sit on the bench.
Well, I also
69.
want the number 666 too.
Well, there you go. Yeah. So, doing a special episode for this one. The big driving force for it is, of course, as always, one of our founders who's not with us, Blake. His birthday's coming up. Right around
when this drops.
Yeah, it's right around when this drops. The 21st is his birthday, and then my daughter's birthday is the 22nd. So always kind of interesting times for me. It's kind of good that like her birthday is the 22nd, so that way I don't get too depressed and stuff. But yeah, I mean that this episode is kind of a tribute to him, so much that we kind of do and everything.
We were able to luckily pay tribute to Blake as well in the last issue, which you guys should have gotten.
Yes.
Of Devil Tail magazine.
I am currently ordering. Yep.
So yeah, definitely go check that out. But that's why we're doing this one. This is a very special episode for all of us.
Yeah, so we're gonna be kind of for me, I don't know, it's a little bit different because I have so many memories, so many stories and stupid things that I can really talk about and stuff like that. But we're going to be kind of reviewing Army of Darkness, which was one of his absolute favorites. And I mean, I'm watching it again. I'm hearing him saying the lines all the time.
That's so cool.
Just that stupid moments and that voice that he would do. So it bringing back, flashbacks and kind of memories and stuff of him in a good way, keeping everything alive. And that's, I know, a big thing for us. And a lot of the true crime that the last one about the Mumper family, that's a lot of you are viewing it. So that makes me feel really good. Consistently, our true crimes are, what generally gets viewed the most. And if I had to choose, that's what I would choose, is that those get viewed the most. So it's always really cool when I kind of look back, on YouTube and see that those are kind of taken off. So I was excited to see this one kind of, getting some views. And those of you out there, feel free to comment or, take these as to remember someone maybe you've lost or to, remember to pull your circle in a little bit closer and stuff like that. So, this episode's definitely big time dedicated to Blake. We're going to be reviewing one of his all-time favorite movies. But before we get too much into that, we do have some stuff that's coming up. And as always, we got some I like that we try to do well-rounded shit.
Yeah, we actually do. I like that. It's a little bit of everything, a little bit of what all we're about. It's horror. Sometimes it's true crime. Most of the time it's all movie related, but we try to sprinkle in some metal in there, which we will.
Yes, absolutely. We definitely will. I'll start one and we can just kind of go back and forth. So for me, I don't know when the trailer dropped, but I know the movie doesn't drop till I think early or mid-September. But Him.
That looks so interesting. It's a sports horror movie?
It's a sports horror movie. Yes.
What?
Yeah, and it's Jordan Peele, so for me that's hit or miss. But
that's so unique. How many other sports horror movies are there?
Yeah, I can't really think. I'm sure there are some that are some
obscure
killer, football thing or something.
I know there's cheerleader related ones, but that's about it.
Yeah, I remember that cover where it's a skeleton cheerleader. Yeah.
Cover, yeah.
Yep. But yeah, so him is going to be coming out. The trailer looks it looks like kind of psychological-y, trippy in a way. Marlon Wayans is in it, which is pretty cool. It looks like he either plays like I don't know if he's a coach or a fellow teammate or like a trainer or something like that. But it looks like the movie kind of takes an obsessive dark turn, and just gauging by the previews, and that just looks pretty interesting. So that's going to be out sometime in September.
Yeah, absolutely. And I finally finished Clown in the Cornfield.
That's sweet.
It takes me, you guys don't understand, it takes me forever and a day to finish a fucking book.
Listen, it's reading, and we all, we all don't have the time to read.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm trying to be better. Because, like, we all have time to fucking be on our phones, and then we get sucked in, and we're on it for, like, hours.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what if I read a page, instead of, or pages, instead of looked at my phone, like, doom scrolling for hours?
That's what you need to do. So that's what more of you need to do, myself included.
So that's what I've been trying to do, is I've been trying to get into that more. And I finally finished Clown in the Cornfield. It helped that I was in the hospital that one time, and that was basically what I did the whole fucking time was read. So that was majority of it, but finally finished it. I really liked it. I'm really excited to see the movie now. I want to just compare it. I've heard already from other people that like it's not as good as the book, which here's the thing.
I feel like everybody says that. Everybody says that.
But the thing is like the book, it reads like a screenplay. Like I can see how, and I'm by no means a director, but I am a writer, and I can see literally bits and pieces of everything that's going on, and I could see it as a movie. Yeah. Like, I think you do that all the time with books that you read, you know? But I could see it beat for beat, what would happen in this movie. And honestly, it's a short read, and it is a young adult novel, so obviously. But it's got a really good queer twist. So, you guys... I
didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know that's where that was going. So, you need something good for Pride Month? You should read Clown in Cornfields. It's got a cute little queer twist at the end.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So my other thing I want to throw in there really, really quick. Also... Karma Records had a refresh of movies.
Oh
they had some good
God.
shit in there. Yeah, they had some good shit in there. So
good shit.
Definitely check them out. They're getting a little movie refresh. But I wanted to throw in. Well, excuse me, my orange Coke is talking back to me. Cavalera Conspiracy, which is Max and Igor Cavalera, have gone off, and this has been years. They've had Cavalera Conspiracy for quite a while. They are touring with Fear Factory, which I loved Fear Factory growing up too, even though it's not all original members in both bands, whatever. But Cavalera Conspiracy is touring on Chaos AD. So they are playing the whole Chaos AD album, and I couldn't be fucking more excited. Tickets are going on sale. By the time this airs, they would have been on sale. But they're playing in Fort Wayne at Pierre's, which is fucking cool. Like that's fucking cool.
That's badass.
Yeah, it really is. Cause I mean, that album is.
Are you going?
I messaged Mikey before this episode cause I'm not going by myself. So I have to see what he says to formulate then a backup plan.
Gotcha.
So I better be going. Anyway, so yeah, they're playing in Fort Wayne with Fear Factory at Pierre's. I want to say it's either in September or October, if I remember right, but coming up this fall.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited.
So a little bit of like local news. We got something really exciting. Like I'm personally excited for this. I don't know if you are, Mark. We talked about it a little bit.
I didn't know much about it until you kind of...
Yeah.
So said something, but
the Riverbend Film Festival that takes place here in Goshen is having a really big person guest or hosting or just as a guest. I'm not sure, but it's Linus O'Brien, who is the son of Riff Raff. So Richard O'Brien, who is also the writer for Rocky Picture Horror Show. That's fucking nuts, man. I'm stoked. I don't know how many of you guys like Rocky Horror, but it's fucking good.
Yeah.
Good movie. But apparently Linus O'Brien is the director of a documentary called Strange Journey, the story of the Rocky Picture Horror The story of Rocky Horror.
Okay.
And it's going to be showing at the film festival. And it sounds fucking cool. I'm so excited for this. And the fact that he's going to be there.
I kind of want to see that.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just figure out a way to see that.
Yeah. So apparently it looks like that the Riverbend Film Festival will be taking place from August 28th to the 30th. So definitely mark your calendars.
That gives me enough time.
You guys need to be there.
That gives me enough time to plan.
I'm sure it'll probably be a late night screening, but don't quote me on that. I'm sure we'll have more updates as it comes in.
Hey, listen, if I got to stay up late, I can do it. I can do it.
Like, this is exciting news, man. Like, how many times do you get, like, big name people coming?
That was exciting. At first, you're like, Riff Raff, and I'm like, Dale D'Antoni? Riff Raff the rapper? I secretly, like, love him, but don't love him because a lot of his music is terrible, but he's done some things where I'm like, I guilty pleasure like it, but he's just so obnoxious that like I love him because he is a character in living form. He's like Macho Man. Like Macho Man is a character, like Riff Raff is a character, and he does it so well. It's just awesome. So that's what I first thought. I was like, oh my gosh, what? But yeah, equally still cool though. So definitely not. I guess we'll just keep going back and forth. So something I find really interesting, and I think it's newly developing, so I don't know a bunch behind it. Maybe, well, we will give an update because I want to say, the article that put this out was just
it bloody disgusting.
Yeah. No, this is like an entertainment article.
Oh, okay.
It was put out on June 10th. So, I mean, we're close to today. So, Texas native Taylor Sheridan, I believe is how he says his name, Eyes Texas Chainsaw Massacre IP report says. That's interesting.
You know, I can't imagine. That must be millions of bajillions of dollars. To purchase a fucking IP.
The IP. So what, like, is that, what all is IP? And maybe we have to pause and back this out because I'm like, is that all rights to the franchise or to the name? Now,
Luke could probably do more research and we'll probably put this little quick blurbs up there.
Yeah. I like when he cuts in his voice.
Yeah, he's like, actually, it's this. And it's like, and I love that about him.
I know, it's so funny.
He's such a good guy.
We both fire from the hip. And so we'll say like some
we think it's this. And it's like, no.
And he's like, no, Mark, you're wrong. It's this. And it's not snooty or anything like that. I totally love it. So yes, Luke, by all means, insert your 30 seconds to 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it's got to take. Run us through what exactly him trying to purchase the IP really means.
What is an IP?
Well, I didn't know I was going to be speaking in this episode, but Mark asked me to do this, so here I am. So I don't know the finer points of the contract that's going to be negotiated out by whoever buys it, but it could mean that whoever owns the IP owns literally everything. They have the rights to produce any movies, any shows, any media at all that involves any of the characters or any of the scenes from the series. It also means if there's any projects already in the works and that person who owns the IP decides they don't want to see those projects, they could cancel them and start their own projects. They would have that right to do so. Taylor Sheridan isn't the only one vying for the rights either. Apparently Jordan Peele's in on it too. Jordan Peele produced Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. That could be interesting. Only time will tell. Hope this helps.
I think that the IP is like, and like I said, Luke can correct me, but I think like the IP means like just the license to use Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Kind of similar to like how Pinhead.
So to be able to create a new one under the branding of the name.
That's what I think it is.
To me, that could make sense. So, which still gotta be hella money.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine. Because Netflix had it before.
Oh, yeah, because they did that Netflix. The one I didn't really like, except I like when he threw the chainsaw, and even though it magically still keeps running, it slices their Achilles and stuff. He throws it across the floor. I was like, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, and that cool bus scene. Was that in the bus scene?
Yeah, I hated the bus scene.
Oh, really? I thought that was kind of
I don't know if I hate it. I kind of liked the idea, but then I kind of thought it went like, eh.
Oh, okay. I get you. It wasn't what it was made up to be.
Yeah.
I get that. But yeah, speaking of reboots.
Oh, jeez.
We have another one. And we just can't help but roll our fucking eyes because first off, it's a remake by Blumhouse.
Didn't I send you? Oh, did they purchase the rights for Saw?
Yep.
Yeah.
Saw and My Bloody Valentine. Because now they're in the works of doing a new My Bloody Valentine. We already had one back in the 2000s. What the fuck are we going to do with it now?
Not to mention the original.
Yep. Well, and the original's perfect. Leave it the fuck alone. Yeah. It was fine. You didn't even need to make the 2000s remake. Though that, like, shovel slicing the chick's, like, jaw in half was kind of neat. That's all I remember from it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those forgettable ones for me, but not that it was terrible. I don't know. I think I saw it, I don't know, years ago.
The original's so good.
I owned the remake. Wasn't it 3D?
Yes, it was. Okay. And they, oh my God, the marketing went all over. It's 3D. Yeah. You should come go see it. Speaking of which, I know it's not the first movie that ever did 3D, but Creature of the Black Lagoon was like one of the first ones to really tout 3D.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How old was that?
It was like in 1960 something.
The badass blue and red glasses had to have been, yeah. Huh.
Sorry, that's off tangent.
That's okay.
But yeah, fuck My Bloody Valentine. The remake anyway. I'm okay with the original. I love it.
Yeah, that is interesting. I don't really have anything to say about it. I don't have.
The less we talk about it, the better.
So interesting. Evil Dead in concert is coming, and it's supposed to be like an experience of film and music.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so it's coming around to select cities and stuff like that. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, it's coming around, should be pretty interesting. I don't know. I forget what cities it's coming to. I know it's coming to Indianapolis.
Ooh, that's cool. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they mean by that in concert. Like, does it mean, because there is an Evil Dead musical. Like, are they going to put parts of that in there? Is it going to be like, I don't know, a couple bands have done Evil Dead inspired things? Is it going to be like a cover band,
I hope they
with
don't
clips?
just have like
I don't know.
Like a shitty cover band playing like, I always think of shitty cover bands for Billy Madison.
Oh.
Billy passed the 3rd grade. Oh, what a glorious day.
Yes.
And he's like, rock on. I always think of that. Or
that's wonderful.
Steve Buscemi in Wedding Singer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I always think of that whenever I hear shitty cover bands. Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be interesting to see what they do, though. Like, I wonder if it'd be like similar to like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, as I've seen it before, like at the Goshen Theater.
Yeah,
where they do it's the musical, but they interslice like actual clips from the movie, and then they do like a shadow cast that plays along with the film. I don't know.
I think it'd be cool if they had like a band performing while they acted out scenes.
That would be
from the movie and stuff. I feel like it might be hard to get.
Would it be an opera?
Go for it. Let's just hire Sebastian Bach and go for it.
There you go. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah. And so lastly, to kind of wrap up things, this isn't horror related, but it ties into what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, but it still has ties.
Yeah. So Spaceballs 2 is official.
I can't believe that.
The Search for More Money. That's not what it's called, but if you know Spaceballs, you know what that comes from. So Bill Pullman's coming back, and obviously Mel Brooks is coming back. Unfortunately, we lost John Candy. Yeah. However, the rumor is honor John Candy's memory by having Bruce Campbell play
that would be cool.
I would love to see that.
That would be cool.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, look at that.
Yeah. That would be really interesting. I know Mikey's excited. That's one of Mikey's favorite movies.
Dude, I could quote that thing.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a good one. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hope he's finding out through us for the first time. So maybe he's like giddy on the other end of this. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, that's exciting. A lot of big things coming up as usual. It's always a busy time in Horrorville.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is.
It's summer.
New
Conventions
things.
are coming up. This weekend is Indianapolis Days of the Dead.
Oh,
I'm not going. Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. But that brings us to us talking about a legendary movie. Before we kind of get into it, though, I was
You
having an
gotta-
issue.
yes.
Yeah, so, and then you told me it was on Amazon.
It's on Amazon Prime, I think.
On Prime? Okay, I have Prime. But so, I took for granted that I had it. And I just was like, oh, I have it, no big deal. And then I have this stuff with my kid, getting her, and it's been kind of crazy and stuff. Been spending a lot of time with her. So it was just like, hey, I know I need to watch it again before the episode. So 2 days before the episode, which is pretty typical because I try to pull it so it's close and still in my memory.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to procrastinate too much and then have like something come up to where I'm like, oh shit, like
Yeah, I forgot.
yeah, like I get stranded and my car dies and then I only have one day to watch it, but then I work all day, you get the idea. So I'm sitting back and I'm like looking through the CLZ app and I'm like, Army of Darkness, what? Like it's not showing up. So I'm like, delete, I go Evil Dead. Shows all the Evil Dead I have, no Army of Darkness.
What?
And I'm like, I swear I fucking have this. And then I'm like, I know I have it because I absorbed Blake's collection.
Yeah.
I fucking have it. I know it. So I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Minnie's kind of doing some shit. So I'm like, let me just search it. So I search it through my TV because it has on the home screen, I can just search and then search a movie and it'll tell me all the platforms. All of them are paid. And I'm like, no, fuck this. I am not paying because I know I have this. So I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm doing it. So right now I was doing some rearranging and swapping rooms. So my girlfriend's daughter has one room. And then Minnie has the middle room. And I had until she was coming all my shit in her room. So I was keeping it in there. To keep the other room free and not to have a lot of clutter. And then once she was getting closer, I was going to move all of my shit out into the rest of the house. But I was kind of putting it off because I didn't know where to fucking put everything.
Yeah.
So I have all but 3 totes of my movies out. So I'm like looking and fucking going down.
Damn.
And the funny thing is, of course I have it because I brought it on our episode for physical media.
Yeah, that's right, you
it's
did.
the gold box clamshell.
Yeah.
It's the limited edition one. And I was like, what the fuck? I never entered it in. So now I have to go through my entire fucking collection and rescan everything. But you don't know how tedious it's going to be. Because when you scan them in, if it's blue, you already have it. When you hit scan, it's going to say, hey, you already have this. So you have to go out and manually delete each and every single one.
It's
going to drive me fucking nuts. I'm going to lose my mind. Because I know I missed other shit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's a random ass movie. And if I miss that, fuck me. I missed some others. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm going to have to go through my collection and rescan it. I'm so pissed.
I feel that because I've seen Luke. He's like, I know I have this, and we're like rummaging through all of our shit, and I'm like, I know it's here. I think, man.
And I can't alphabetize them because I still have 3 totes.
Oh fuck.
So I'm searching through them and they're not alphabetized, which is even more a pain in the dick.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fucking terrible doing that.
That's true because, like, I mean, hell, same for us. Like, we have all our horror stuff. We have all of our DVDs and animated films all logged in, but we have more totes of shit that's not horror related. It's all comedy movies and weird shit, and it's like, oh, fuck. What weird things are we gonna find in the future?
Yeah, I actually was watching Young Guns this week.
No.
Yeah, because I got inspired by us talking about the third one and Emilio Estevez working on it. Oh, that's fucking awesome. But
that's cool.
Anyway, so yeah, I watched the limited edition one I had that was that one was Blake's. I'm pretty sure that one was Blake's. And so yeah, I threw it on. My daughter watched it with me.
That's so cool.
Because it's for those of you out there, it's not like if you've never seen Army of Darkness, it's not like a super scary.
No.
It's not insanely gory.
And that's the funny thing about it. Like, they were trying to get that movie a PG-13 rating. Could not do it.
Yeah.
And it's because of, like, I think there's the witch scene and a couple other scenes that got it an R rating.
Yeah.
And it's like, other than that, it's a very tame movie.
Yeah, I want to say there's like a couple like cuss words, but not like anything too
It's not
ridiculous.
crazy. It honestly does not deserve that R rating.
No, I don't think so. No. So, that was good example. People out there, physical media, that is the importance of it.
This is where it will save you.
Yes.
For example, this is one last example.
Sure, go. Yeah.
The movie Splash.
Oh, yeah, with
Daryl Hannah. And Tom Hanks.
Do I have it? Keep talking.
The only way you can see Daryl Hannah's ass.
Yes, I remember that when I was a kid.
Is on physical media. They removed it on Disney Plus. So if you want to see, you got it, nice. If you want to see her ass, the only way you can do it is on physical media.
Yeah,
it's important. See. You can see titties and ass.
It is, and it's so cool. Like I'm watching movies now, and I'm like, dude, I prefer VHS. I like it.
There's something about it. Like you just put it in. It's all good.
I love it. I like the fact that I don't have to see everything the clearest, and I love seeing the previews of other movies and shit. Anyway, we're here to talk about Army of Darkness.
So
go ahead. You kind of rip into it.
I'll rip into it for you guys. So basically, Army of Darkness is obviously the third installment of Evil Dead. Just one thing. Hey, Casper.
What's up?
No, we're not quite done yet, Bubby. You and Minnie are playing, huh?
So I even heard. So with Army of Darkness, even in the name, a lot of people have said, like, why is it called Army of Darkness and not Evil Dead 3?
So good question. The reason for it is because it was actually produced by Universal Studios. So Sam Raimi was off of directing Darkman at the time, when he was first doing the script. Yeah, it was a good one. When he was first doing the script for Army of Darkness. However, because a different studio owned Evil Dead, he could not call it Evil Dead. He had to keep it as something else.
Total licensing thing.
But it premiered in October 9th of 1992.
92, yep.
At the Stooges Film Festival, but was released in the United States on February 19th, 1993. Unfortunately, it was not a box office success, but it gained a cult following on VHS and also movie rentals. Yeah. People saw it after, and it was a great film. Became a big deal. But the budget, so the movie had a budget of $11 million. It initially set out with $8 million budget, but as production kept rolling, they need to ask for more money. So it ended up at $11 million.
So, hey.
I need another $1 million. I can't even imagine that. Like, what is that like? But the nice thing is that apparently the production studio, it's Luke, you can help me out with this, but it's like a big name production studio. Like, he does so many other things, blanket terms, basically said, hey, you got free range of this thing. Do whatever you want.
Which, when you have like a
That's
good
awesome.
director and like a good crew, which obviously Sam is, I feel like you'd have to have confidence, even if it's kind of a stinker, like with their name behind it.
Yeah,
it still gives it
notoriety. You still got like all these people, and they knew, especially because he did Darkman and did a couple other films after this. Like, he was not a sleeper. Sam Raimi is the person that gets shit done.
Yeah. And I know that, in VHS and all that areas where it made like a lot of its money, but still it just goes and adds fuel to the Evil Dead name, because it's just Evil Dead 3. There's others that actually, come out after it to kind of fuel the whole Evil Dead and taking it from what it was, just back Ash in the cabin, to now. I mean, we had new Evil Dead's come out the past years
we had
that don't
Ash
even.
versus Evil Dead.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then we had also, Evil Dead Rise, and now we're going to have Evil Dead Burn here pretty soon. And of course, the remake of Evil Dead, which was actually a really decent remake.
I actually liked it. I thought it was, I was surprised.
Fun fact about Ash vs. Evil Dead, in the first season, they were not allowed to use Army of Darkness because Universal still owned it. Ash vs. Evil Dead was owned by that other company. Wow. And it wasn't until season 2 that they were able to incorporate Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I have to go back and watch those. I remember season 1, and I remember Xena coming in. But
Lucy Lawless or something like that.
Yeah, but it's like spotty after that. And I think it ends in 3 seasons.
Yes, because...
And I didn't like the ending.
Oh, we'll get back to that ending. Because put a pin in that. We will come back to that.
All right.
So... let's kind of introduce, those of you that live under a rock for years, what is Army of Darkness? What is the film about?
Okay, so I guess we'll start off, in my opinion. This is a unique movie in, it follows in succession with the others because of how it starts off, but it's kind of, I'm in the middle about, does someone need to watch Evil Dead 1 and 2 in order to watch Army of Darkness?
Right.
I feel to understand Ash, yes. Because if you just watch Army of Darkness, I don't think you'll fully understand Ash as a character.
Sure.
And it may seem a little weird.
I kind of agree with you. You do maybe at least watch, you should watch both of them, but at least watch Evil Dead 2. Mm-hmm. Because Evil Dead 1, again, to reiterate to all you horror fans, sorry, but to those that don't know, Evil Dead 1, Ash is a completely different character.
He is, yeah.
He is not as fleshed out. He is definitely the final girl of that movie. Spoilers. But the Evil Dead 2 is more of a rehash or remake of the first film. So with more pizzazz.
Yes.
Exactly. More money thrown at it.
Yeah.
Because the first one did so good.
And then, Bruce, go ahead. Yeah. Do what you want to do.
Do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah.
And he goes one-liners. And he goes fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And it's more comical. And it's, it's more silly. It's still got a serious edge to it, but it's more silly.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end of that movie, then you see where he's coming from. And that builds up who he is in Army of Darkness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He goes from this kind of sweet guy, but he's also he's got kind of an edge to him, and he's got more of an edge after all the shit that happens to him.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking fed up by the time he's in Army of Darkness. He's done. Yeah. He's tired of this shit.
Yeah. So, in that sense, I would say that, watching the other two is a good base, but this is very much a standalone movie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, it starts out with Ash tunneling through a portal.
Yep.
And popping out in what looks like this rock quarry area, rocky area and stuff like that. And
little does he know it's medieval times.
Mm-hmm, yes, finding out that he's a bit off the mark of where he was. And it's two pitting... what do you even call it?
Two pitting genres against each other. It's you got your fantasy, which was big in the 80s, but this was 92.
Yep.
But still filmed in the 80s. You had your sword and sandal movies Conan and all, and
that stuff.
I don't fucking know what what we're talking about. All those movies, Deathstalker. Yeah, you had all those, and then you also had horror that was tying into it. But I honestly would say, and this is just my opinion, this is definitely more fantasy than it is horror. I mean, it's definitely got horror elements, don't get me wrong, but it's mostly fantasy and horror elements. Just tiny bit.
Yeah, and comedy thrown in there as well.
Lots of comedy. Yeah. This is more slapsticky. This is literally Three Stooges.
Yep. So you kind of find Ash, tunneling through this portal, and then some middle-aged military discovers him and thinks that he is of an opposing military.
Yep.
Like it's blue and red, so to speak, if you had to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And they pretty much like arrest him.
Yep.
And they're taking him back to, you know, their castle to do whatever they're going to do with him. And so he's thrust into this, finding out that he's thrown back in time, not really knowing what to do, being confused, and then now arrested.
Yeah.
And then gets hauled back into the castle of the, I don't know.
I thought, is it King Arthur? Like, is that him? I don't know.
It might be. I don't know. I'm bad with history shit like that. I don't know.
King Arthur's not real.
Good. Okay. See, I don't even know. I don't even know these
That's
things.
okay.
There's so many kings. It's like, I don't know. King Henry? Is that a real one?
Yeah, he's a real one.
Okay, well, there you go. Henry, Arthur, who gives a shit? I don't know. I'm sure there might have been someone who called themselves King and Arthur at some point.
That's probably true. But King Arthur is typically fantasy, like the sword.
Is that Knights of the Round Table King Arthur thing?
Sword of the Stone, dude.
See, I knew that.
You did know that.
Click. I guess it just didn't click.
It's all good.
So yeah, he gets brought back, and of course he's reluctant and like, you know, what the hell's going on, and then people are throwing rocks and shit at him, and he's with some other guys from the red team. I don't even know what the hell to call it, but
let's
like
just call them that. That's
the opposing faction. I don't know what the hell to call it, but anyway. So yeah, they kind of are getting hauled into the castle, and then they kind of figure out like what their fate's gonna be, and they're getting thrown into a pit.
Yep.
So it kind of starts off there, and you know, you've got Ash trying to talk his way out of it, and then there's a love interest that gets introduced.
Oh yeah, the sister of like one of the knights or something.
Because she thinks Ash is part of the guys that killed her brother. And I love how the guy was so tactful, and he's riding in, you know, with all these prisoners behind him, and she's like, "Where's my brother?" And he's basically like, "Yeah, he's dead." They killed him. And it's just like, oh shit. So they're throwing rocks at all the prisoners and shit, and you know, Ash gets set to go into this pit where he's the second person. The first person gets thrown in, and then this like obnoxious amount of lava blood just spurts out, like just a ridiculous amount.
Like no human put together has all that blood.
Yeah, it's like 80 human beings, maybe even more of like the amount of liquids. Yeah. So, and of course he's trying to bargain and, you know, get them to be like, hey, I'm, you know, like, I don't even know these guys. Like, I'm not, it's not me you're looking for, and that sort of thing. And then, so they throw him into the pit. And this is where the first part of, like, very much Sam Raimi, like, makeup and, like, style, in my opinion, comes from the witch. I don't know what else to call her, but she comes out, and this was my daughter's favorite part when Ash has to duel with her. Just very much that scene, very much Evil Dead. There's a couple scenes like that where it's unmistakable, like absolutely Evil Dead. In the makeup of her, the way Ash is acting and battling her, so they have their little battle in there, and of course Ash wins, and then there's another little soaky goblin thing that pops up. And so Ash finishes him off as well too, but he pops up later. A couple minutes later, and then Ash turns around and shoots him with his boomstick. So that's kind of the first opening kind of experience that you're witnessing there, and you're you know, getting the love interest introduced and everything.
And then of course, you know, now tell me if I'm skipping ahead too much, but like, then of course, you know, he talks to the wise man. The wise man shows him the Necronomicon, says that you need to go to X and Y Z place and say the magic words.
Yes.
Don't fuck it up.
Yes. You have to go into the graveyard and save the magic words. But that's his whole thing, is he's trying to get back home. And so he impresses everybody because he smokes, you know, the woman that's in the pit that nobody's beaten, and then the other little creature. So everyone's like, oh my gosh. And then he shows him the boomstick.
This is my boomstick.
And, you know, talks about S-Smart and all that shit. So everyone's like, ooh, you know, like, and so they end up being okay with him. And they kind of figure out that, this guy is not just a normal person. He's not with them. So, you know, he ventures out to find the Necronomicon to give it to this shaman,
Yep.
like medieval shaman guy, in order to take Ash back.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he ventures off into this graveyard to find the Necronomicon.
Mm-hmm.
But when he finds it, he finds that there's a little bit of problem, and that there's 3 of them.
Yes, and that's the best part. You want slapstick funny,
Yeah.
you show people the scene of this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, to just show you the difference between each Evil Dead, this is the one.
Yeah. And so the first 2 books don't take a liking to Ash.
Mm-hmm.
They do their little things to try and,
Mess with them.
Yeah, mess with him. Keep him from going further, scare him,
Yep.
that sort of stuff. But of course, Ash is not gonna go for it, and finds the 3rd, which is the real Necronomicon, and goes to say the words. Forgets them and kind of just mumbles through it.
Mm-hmm.
So then takes the Necronomicon, and basically starts kind of on his venture back to go, get it to the shaman to.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of say, open it up and all that stuff.
Yep.
But then and I believe it's when he grabs the 3rd book, something happens to him.
Yeah.
I thought that there's the little ashes first.
Yes, because that's when, like, the mirror breaks.
Yes.
Or something like that, and it turns into the little ashes.
Yes, it turns into little ashes. Yeah, so then he battles with these little ashes, and it's total, like comical type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ends up swallowing one.
Yeah.
And then tries to burn him with the hot water, and then that ash is what turns into the eye on the shoulder.
Yes.
That's where I was at, yes. And then that eventually sprouts a head, half of a body, and then a full body. And then we have a good and an evil Ash.
Evil Ash. Who is not Bill Moseley?
No, which we just saw that, because I didn't even realize Bill Moseley was in it.
Yeah.
But yes, a lot of people, so he's credited as the lead Deadite.
Yes, Deadite Captain.
Yes, Deadite Captain. So, I mean, basically what it translates to is Evil Ash is the head of the Deadites.
Yeah, he's like the big bad.
Bill Moseley is basically his right man.
His right-hand man, dude. Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, how Bill Moseley got involved with this. It was a total fangirl meetup between him and Sam Raimi. Like, Sam Raimi had saw him as Chop Top and was like, I love you.
Yeah.
And Bill Moseley is like, but I love you. And so they're like, they come together and they both say, hey, I'm a huge fan of yours. Can I be in this next movie? And Sam Raimi's like, okay, yeah, but you need to do a British accent, like, to get a part. And so Bill Moseley's like, okay, I can do a British accent. And so he performs the poem by Lewis Carroll, The Jabberwocky, in a British accent. And Sam Raimi's like, yeah, you got the part.
Yeah.
It's all good.
That's great.
So that's pretty cool. And he's got that cool makeup on too. He's got
they had some cool stuff.
Like he's got the one eye that's like white and silvery. It's kind of neat.
So Evil Ash kind of breaks free and wants to start his own army to get the Necronomicon back from Good Ash. Yep. So then he starts kind of recruiting and getting his skeletons and
his skeleton crew together.
Yeah.
Literally. Which is really cool too, because like I don't know how big you are personally into kind of the old school like Harryhausen stuff.
Not as much.
Like Ray Harryhausen, like for the 7 Voyages, Sinbad, and Jason the Argonauts.
Not as much.
These were movies that my dad introduced me to when I was pretty young, and I didn't know if I would like them or not because they were more fantasy more than they were horror. But I did end up liking them, especially Jason the Argonauts and Sinbad. The stop motion skeletons is what inspired Sam Raimi. And Bruce Campbell recounted a story in this interview I saw where it was him, another friend of theirs, Timothy Patrick Quill, who was actually the blacksmith in this film, would go to a room during break time and would watch Jason the Argonauts when they were younger.
That's cool.
And that's kind of neat, like seeing the beginnings of what inspired them to, do what they do.
Sweet.
That was a little mini rant.
No, that's fine. So yeah, I mean, basically, what's gonna happen happens. And I forget, there's an evil version of the main love interest.
Oh, Sheila. No, Sheila gets possessed.
Did she get possessed?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Sheila gets possessed because he has to kill her or something like that.
Yeah. I had my kid. I was a bit distracted.
It's all good. I could be remembering wrong too.
I think you're right, because I don't remember seeing like a second split version of her. Mm-hmm. So basically, they kind of start to march and storm the castle, and they're going to battle to try and get the Necronomicon back. Mm-hmm. And then that's when you have the skeletons marching and playing the drums and the flute and all that sort of stuff. So,
which again, fun fact: Ted Raimi, the brother of Sam Raimi, was the voices for the little skeleton guys. And he played a whole bunch of other parts, because what Sam Raimi movie is not a Sam Raimi movie without Ted?
Very true. So, and I mean, I may be leaving out some parts, but you get your battle scene between good and evil Ash. Mm-hmm. And of course, good Ash wins out. But throughout this movie, there are the classic one-liners, give me some sugar baby, groovy, stuff like that. Yeah, all thrown out there. That when he gets his hand, because that's something we missed over. The blacksmith makes his hand for him. Or
that's
whatever.
Right. He has like the gloved finger.
Yeah. So I mean, there's one-liners thrown throughout this. Basically, they kind of do battle, and of course, good Ash wins. Mm-hmm. And then he basically is going to the shaman to try and is still getting back. So nothing has changed. He still wants to go back. It's not like he changed his mind after he, won and has become the hero and all that sort of stuff. So then he is looking to go back. But when he does, things don't exactly go to plan.
Nope.
So he gets a formula that he's supposed to take 6 times.
Yep.
Little dropper.
Loses track,
does squirrel, and counts 5 twice. So really it takes 7 drops.
Oops.
And ends up going into a slumber, a long, deep sleep. And he's got a beard and cobwebs and all over everything, and wakes up and finds that the world is basically destroyed, and he slept too long.
That's the version that you saw?
That is the version that I saw, yep.
How interesting.
Yep.
So you know how the original version, theatrical one...
because I think this is the only one that I've watched.
Really?
And I think they have the second ending on after it, but I saw it with Minnie, but I got distracted.
Okay, so like I said we'd come back to that pin.
Yep.
So that was not the original ending.
Yeah, I know.
The original theatrical ending, and I know you know this.
Sure.
The original theatrical ending was where he goes back. He successfully is able to go back with some minor changes. And he's able to go back to S-Smart. He sees Linda again. Who is actually, Linda's played by Bridget Fonda.
Bridget Fonda, yeah.
That's so weird. That's so weird.
I know it is.
I did not know that going into that. And apparently she was a huge fan of the Evil Dead franchise and begged Sam Raimi to be in this. She goes, I don't care how little a part it is. I just want to be in this.
Gee.
Yep.
That's cool.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know she was like a horror fan. But like, yeah, so he goes back, and unfortunately, because again, he did lose track, a Deadite followed him back home. And so there's a whole shootout in the S-Smart area, and then that's where we get the famous line, "Hail to the King, baby," where he kills him and then kisses the girl. And that's how that one ends.
Yep.
And that's a theatrical release. Whereas the one that you had, or the one that you saw, was the release that the studio made them change. They said, that was too depressing, the one that you saw. So like,
that's awesome.
We're not doing that. But this is where the pin comes in, because Evil Dead, or Ash vs. Evil Dead, reworked that into their plot. Because if you remember at the end of season 3, that basically happens.
Yeah.
He's in a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah.
Where he's supposed to maybe have robots fight the Deadites. Possibly, that's what it's kind of leading up to. which is batshit weird, but is kind of neat. That's kind of interesting that it came full circle, and we never got the 4th season because it didn't have enough money.
Yeah.
And not enough viewers behind it.
And it was on Stars, which...
Yeah. Stars, and there was another carrier that was showing it, because that's how my sister and I were able to watch it at one point. Maybe Hulu? But yeah, so Army of Darkness, it's a good one.
It is, yeah. It's very comical, very memorable. One of those movies that you won't really forget. It's an important movie in the Evil Dead franchise. I think it really carries Ash to just another level. To me, I think Bruce Campbell as Ash is one of the most unchangeable combinations I think out there. I would argue Chop Top, I would say, is there. I where you can't see anyone else really playing that character as well. I would probably even say that Bruce Campbell is probably a little bit more than Chop Top. I just think Bruce Campbell just like plays the part perfectly.
Well, and the other thing is too, like there was a documentary I was watching, because rather than watch the movie again, which I love the movie, and yes, I would have watched it again, but I was not able to. Sure. So instead at work, I put on in the background a documentary so I could listen to it, while I'm, working, or at least attempting to work, because it was. We haven't been very busy, and I guess that's good for others, not good for me.
Yeah.
But I was watching a documentary from 2015 called Medieval Times and the Making of Army of Darkness.
Sweet.
And it was really good. It's like an hour or 30 minutes long, but it's all available on YouTube. And there were some funny stories that Bruce Campbell was telling. And Sam Raimi basically said, jump, and Bruce Campbell said, how high? And that was always been their dynamic, apparently. Yeah. But Army of Darkness was his movie where he just wanted to torture the fuck out of Bruce to see if he would do it.
Yeah.
And so, like, literally, Bruce Campbell was put through the ringer. He learned how to ride a horse badly, but he did learn how to ride a horse.
True, yeah.
He had to go to school for head-to-head combat training.
Okay.
He also had to go to school to ballet dance.
Oh, wow.
For a scene.
Yeah.
And so, and honestly, the ballet dancing one was only halfway used in the movie because it was actually Sam Raimi's joke to make him be enrolled in this class and barely use a scene that they were actually to use.
That's funny.
It also was confirmed that, like, in order to be Evil Ash, because Bruce Campbell not only was, Ash, he was also Evil Ash. Yeah. He was also the Mini Ashes. Yes. So he was basically having to do all these other parts. But in order to be Evil Ash, it took 3 hours for his makeup to be applied and an hour for the makeup to be taken off. So he was confined for multiple hours in a day into the makeup. And just Sam Raimi loved fucking with him.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, it's worth it because it's, just adds to the lore of Ash. So, yeah, all in all, really memorable movie, great movie, important movie in the franchise, one of the most popular franchises, and Blake's absolute favorite character, absolute favorite franchise.
I mean, he's got a kid name after Ash.
Yes, Little Ash. We call him our Little Ash.
Little Ash.
Little Ash.
Funny.
Who is so much Blake.
Really?
Holy cow.
Oh my God, is he a little troublemaker?
So much, yes. He's such a little turd.
Aww.
It's crazy. Seeing him, he always wants to come over and play Call of Duty.
Man, how old is he now? He must be 11.
Ash is 9. Yeah.
I remember when we first met him. When I first met him, and he was just a wee little lad.
Yep, and the girls are they just had birthdays, 14 and 15.
Oh my God, I knew they were a little older, but I didn't know.
Yeah. Yep. Nadia and Gabby.
Aww.
It's Nadia and Natalia, but I always say Gabby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm reminded of him all all the time. Especially having the kids over for weekends and stuff like that.
You don't think he's ever going to be like, I saw an interview with Bruce Campbell where apparently this young boy goes up to him and it goes, sign these, and like yells at him and goes, sign these. And he goes, yeah, Bruce Campbell's like, okay. And he signs them and he goes, thank you, or something like that. I'm only getting these signs because, my parents named me after your stupid movies. You don't think Ash will ever be that way?
I don't know, because I know Blake chose Ashton, so that way he, it's kind of both. So, like, if he doesn't want to go by it, he can go by Ashton. But, I mean, everyone calls him Ash. So, and then so it's so funny, because he's scared of movies. I have like a Leatherface pillow.
Really?
Yeah, and I have a pillow that has like all the horror characters on it. He makes me, so first he makes me hide him, and if I forget, he goes and throws him down the hallway. Because he'll sleep out in the living room, because I have the TV's out there and stuff. And actually, both of the girls sleep out in the living room, so they'll all sleep in the living room.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does not like scary movies.
Oh, that's so cute. But how's Blake taking that right now? Hearing that,
I don't
Sorry,
know.
buddy.
Yeah, it's quite funny because he is terrified of my pillows.
I understand. I get it. Casper's so like he kind of understands what's going on, but he's also he's been around it his whole life, so it's like there's times where it's like it's whatever, but like I can't imagine.
The girls like horror a little bit better. Like when they came over, we watched the Scream that's out on video, the one that's in New York.
That's the most recent one, right?
Yeah, I think so. There's another one. There's another one that's out there, but I don't remember. Maybe it's just recently been released. I don't fucking know.
I don't know Scream very well.
I don't really pay too much attention. The only reason I'm remembering is because they wanted to watch it, and I have 3 copies of it sealed.
Oh, wow.
2 DVD, 1 Blu-ray. I don't know. It's so random. That one movie I have 3 copies of.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Give them one to each of them.
I know. So we watched that, and then we watched Megan.
Megan!
They wanted to watch it. Yes.
I love Megan. Except for maybe the second one. I'm a little worried about it.
The verdict is going to be out. So yeah, no, but it's great, being able to spend time with them. And I talk about their dad all the time, and I'm always like, I never ask them, and I always feel like, hey, like, is it okay? I just don't even fucking care. I just talk about Blake all the time. I even have the picture of them, and when they're like so little, it was a picture. Yeah, I want to say Ash is 3, Gabby's probably like 7, and then Toad is probably she would have been 6 then. But yeah, they're young and stuff. But yeah, it's good stuff. You love these movies.
That's cool. I love that. This is a nice way to remember him.
Yes.
Keep his memory alive.
Absolutely. So, it goes back to honoring people that have passed and, saying their name, making sure you're bringing them up, especially when we've got, things, anniversaries come around and all that. And it's a fight. Like, it's kind of, to me, death isn't necessarily scary. It's the fact that, like, I think about, like, what about people in the 1400s? Like, they're gone and forgotten.
Yeah. They're long dead and gone.
Yeah. That's what scares me, because it's you're dead and you're gone, and, like, nobody speaks about you. Like, it's kind of creepy.
There was a pastor that I remember gave an interesting sermon one time, and so that you go through 3 deaths. You go through the physical death. Then you go through the death of being forgotten by your family. Eventually, over time, because nobody's going to remember you. You'll always have the immediate family that will remember you. But then you'll have who else after that if you don't leave a legacy. Yeah. And then the 3rd death is when you're just another number out in the millions of headstones. And you're completely lost to time. Yeah. That is fucking terrifying.
I know. Talk about a black hole in a black hole. Like, because you become that nothingness. And we all are going to be there at some point, but it's important to remember that person and their legacy and all that sort of stuff. So,
but maybe that won't happen to us because look, his legacy is forever on YouTube.
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, there's bajillion millions of podcasters out there, but I don't think anybody really has a story like we do because we would not be here.
Yeah.
Without Blake.
Yeah, no. And that's the one thing that I still like, you know, we're not trying to be like thousands of subscribers and all that stuff. If that happens, cool.
That would be neat.
Yeah, we want our message to reach a lot of people. But the thing I can say is, out of literally all the podcasts that are out there is nothing out there that is like us. There's nothing. There's nothing out there that looks at true crime like we do, talks about horror movies, talks about metal, interviews bands, interviews directors, interviews actors, actresses, artists. Yeah, I mean, we've had Kevin on, the artist.
Yeah, Kevin Titzer.
Yeah, and we're just kind of a hodgepodge of things that I think should be interesting to the listener out there because you never really know like what exactly is coming up because half the time
we don't even fucking know.
No. We have ideas and then we just kind of spruce them together and throw them together. So I think coming back to the main reason we started this podcast, the main person, you know, behind this podcast, and just taking some time to honor him with this and the magazine coming out. Yep. I think it's, I don't know, symbiotic is the right word.
Yeah.
But I think it's a perfect note to end this episode 69 on.
Yeah, we're 69.
Yeah. So yes, don't forget your loved ones. Keep their memory going. Try to prolong that second death as long as you can. I think is the main goal for all of us out there. So, and you know, give your kids a kiss, a hug. Crazy shit happens out there. Crazy shit is out there. So
yeah,
and you can hear him in the background
right now.
Don't worry, we'll go beat him later. But
Jesus Christ. Hi, poor boy.
Oh, no, we do not condone that.
No.
So, yeah, just appreciate those of you that have listened to us, kept up with us. We're going to keep going. We have a lot more in store. So stay with us.
Each year and each episode always takes us somewhere even further. So
it does.
We thank all of you. Thank you for listening. This wraps up our last season.
Yes.
Or this next season. Not our last.
Not
it's
our
okay.
last.
It's okay. We'll be back.
We will. Yeah. So, exactly. I think that's a good note to end on. So, with that being said,
look out for each other and good night, cellar dwellers. Bye.
69. 69!